What exactly is UPSC expecting?
First and foremost, I would say the board's expectation to some extent is outlined in the notification. It is not an interview, it is a personality test.
What is the difference in the expectation and what was the difference in your approach for both? The corporate versus UPSC.
In corporate sector, they are looking for knowledge. They're not as such looking for confidence. In fact, if you have the good profile and all those things play a great role. Coming to UPSC, it's more about the personality.
How did you balance your work as well as preparation?
I was in the corporate sector where there's supposed to be more flexible work timings. So it used to be 6:37 by the time I come home after crossing the Bangalore traffic. So only when we have clarity, we would have clarity to make those sacrifices required. So yes, whatever free time was available, number one, that should be used. And the second thing,
most of them, when they prepare for UPSC, they opt for the social sciences options. Chemistry was your optional subject. Any specific reason?
There are some factors which I considered. So first one is to maximize my strengths. So coming from an IIT background, I was pretty good at problem solving. Second one,
what should be done for a beginner to improve their scores in essay?
Sir, to be very frank, I'm not the best person to speak on essay.
Welcome to the podcast, Jashwanth. Firstly, congratulations, heartfelt congratulations. So today we'll just not try to understand how you prepared, but how you evolved over this process.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Jashwanth, this year, when you looked at the UPSC result, All India rank 23, how did it feel like?
Sir, indeed it was a huge sense of relief. So I was undergoing training in the National Police Academy. So it was a lunch break. And there was a rumor like the result can be out anytime soon. There was a talk going on.
True that.
So I was on call with my mother and I still remember the moment. So I just opened the PDF and my name being long enough, it was very, very much visible in the first page.
Jeenu Sri Jashwanth Chandra.
Yes, sir.
Very long indeed.
So I just said 23 and even my mother got emotional. Like she was on the call on the other side. She had a lunch break in her school. So she works as a government school teacher. So even she was very much elated.
Yes.
So immediately I made a video call to all our family group, in our family group.
Okay.
Yes, so it was a moment to remember.
So it was indeed a cherishable moment where all of you could join the family call in real time. Right. And was it like you mentioned that a sense of relief? Was it like a relief or joy or what exactly was that moment, immediately when you saw the result? Did you anticipate that you'd be getting below 50 rank, number one? Secondly is, all these years I've struggled, I'm relieved from that? Or was it like, okay, I achieved what I wanted? It's a mixed feeling, right?
Yes, sir. It is a mixed feeling. So, I mean, with respect to the first question, I am not sure if anyone can anticipate a top 50 rank in UPSC.
True.
Because there is a lot of factors involved, like how our optional performs, how our interview goes. There are many uncontrollables which are outside our hand.
Yes.
So, I know I have done enough to get a rank, but I'm not sure if it worked out the way I intended to.
True.
So definitely it was because there was this, even last year my rank didn't come as expected. So I was actually thinking like, what if, like I was happy undergoing training. I had a good cadre as well in the IPS. So I was actually waiting from the morning, we didn't even have our mobile phones in our classes.
Okay.
So from the morning we were like waiting. So yes, sir, definitely it was a great moment. So it's actually relief in the sense because, okay, like what I set out to achieve maybe 6 years ago.
True.
So that thing that I could actually achieve it, that I could fulfill what I set out to achieve 6 years ago. So that was it took some time to sink in, but it was a great feeling.
With tremendous perseverance and consistency. Oh my God, like every attempt you were clearing the prelims and after that every stage, each step by step, getting into one service or other requires tremendous consistency.
Thank you.
Now here, it's a huge sense of relief, but there must have been some results which might have broken you. What year was that? Any specific year where you thought that, should I give the attempt again or not? Where you dejected by a particular result?
So dejections in the sense maybe the third attempt in 2022 where I didn't end up in the main list. Later I got through reserve list. That was one. But with respect to considering whether I had to give another attempt, so the last attempt where I got a rank of 392,
True.
But my service didn't improve because I was already in the IPS.
Yes.
So that I had some consideration whether to write it again or not. So there was some discussions I had with my friends and others. So then finally I decided to write it. So that was a tougher one to take because my result actually, and I ended up scoring lower than what I had scored in 2021. When my score went down, my rank went down.
True.
So again, amid all this uncertainty, I should get a top 70 rank. So like, should I go for it again? Again, 1 year of hard work. So that was one moment where I doubted it slightly.
See, like for most of the youngsters, getting a seat into IIT, then getting a exceptionally good job in Samsung with a good position and pay scale, earning lakhs of rupees. And after that, you decided to prepare for UPSC. In UPSC also, you have succeeded. To succeed itself is a difficult phenomena for lakhs of youngsters. In that you are succeeding in this examination time and again. But still, even after getting the Indian Police Service, which for many youngsters is like aspiration for lifetime. Even after getting that, you still pursued for UPSC to get into the IAS. Now, is there something unsettled inside of you that was driving you all through?
I wouldn't say unsettled. Maybe before, like probably when I was in Indian Postal Service, considering the impact maybe I wanted to give.
Right.
But once I was in Indian Police Service, it's not so much about unsettled. But I thought, okay, even when I had, that's exactly the reason why I contemplated even stopping after the last attempt.
Yeah.
So because I was in a very good service, very prestigious service, and even the training is here itself. Even the way, the exposure which I'm getting. So it's indeed a lovely service to be a part of, great service to be a part of. So the reason why I thought was because just because the opportunity the IAS provides in terms of the areas that I can work in.
True that.
The initiatives that I can take. So maybe that felt like a driving force.
Yeah.
And considering that I would be, yes, at the moment, 1 year seems a struggle. But considering that I have a career for 30 years. So I thought over the long term, maybe, yes, there will be great postings at the initial stage. Over the long term, the kind of opportunities that are there in the IAS, the kind of diversity, I felt it was worth taking a shot. For 30 years of career, I felt, okay, maybe 1 year of hard work seemed worth it. So again, it's not so much about being unsettled.
Yep.
So I would have been happy to continue in Indian Police Service as well. But just because of the opportunity available and considering the taking a long-term view, I wanted to appear.
So that's quite an optimism and the clarity of conviction. I think that pushed you through. Time and again, starting with IIT, then getting a wonderful job, and then, different services. So was this an ambition that was changing the goalpost time and again? Many people, once they get into a particular job or a service, they're sorted for life. We achieved IIT, we got a very good job. Okay, tomorrow you prepared for, later you prepared for UPSC, got into IPS. Then people were like, okay, we are sorted for life. But you kept on changing goalposts time and again. I mean, what is this actually?
So maybe I would rather put it as clarity of thought, maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe even when
clarity
many people,
of purpose also.
Yes, so when many people, clarity of purpose, that's a better way to put it. So when many people ask me like what kept you going, I would say maybe I had the clarity like what I wanted. So when I made a switch from private sector to government sector as well. So I thought of all these possibilities, like why do I, even in fact, I took like 1 year at all just to think, like should I attempt? So even I worked in the private sector, so that gave me better perspective.
True.
So the reason why I find that, the reason that convinced me was the opportunity available here, that too at right from younger stages of career, compared to the corporate, the amount of impact we can have in the government sector. And that too at a very young age, even from the first posting, be it in IPS or IAS, the amount of opportunity we had. So that motivated me, the kind of impact that I could have as an individual. So that clarity of thought, so that kept me going, even when I doubted, when the process was itself testing me.
True.
So I think that's what kept me going. So that's what even I suggest many of them who are coming. So if you're confused, don't take the plunge. Right. So just take your time to figure out what you want to do. Only once you get the clarity, if you take the plunge, so even during the tougher times, it will keep you going. So I would put it down to that.
Jashwanth, you gave the first attempt while doing your job, right? Placed in Bangalore, working for Samsung. That time itself, you cleared the prelims. Now, there are many people who are, who feel entrapped in job or in the corporate sector. They're trapped, but they don't feel like moving out, right? But you made a choice, number one. And secondly, you also took action, right? In that scenario, what was your preparation like? How did you balance your work as well as preparation? You cleared prelims, that's not an easy task. Yes. Lakhs of aspirants, give the prelims examination and very few clear it. So how did you strategize?
Obviously, when we are doing it with respect to a job, it demands additional sacrifices. So effectively, there's only lesser time available to us. And though I was in the corporate sector where there's supposed to be more flexible work timings. So Samsung, like being a South Korean company, it had the timings were rigid. Like we had to be there in the office on an average 9 hours a day. So it used to be 6:37 by the time I come home after crossing the Bangalore traffic. So the thing was, so there's very less time available compared to an aspirant who's studying throughout the day.
True that.
There's very less time available, and on the weekends also it demands sacrifices. So again, that's what brings me to the point which I was answering. So you need clarity.
Yeah.
So only when we have clarity, we would have the clarity to say no to other plans. We would have clarity to make those sacrifices required. So yes, whatever free time was available, number one, that should be used.
Right.
And the second thing, maybe there's something called the 80-20 rule. So which is quite famous. So 80% of our efforts comes from, 80% of our results comes from 20% of our efforts. So that's true even in UPSC preparation. So we need to identify what are those areas which have the highest return on investment. So it's effectively prioritizing those areas. So I was focused on these two areas. So utilizing whatever time I had and prioritizing on what brings me the best investment, best returns.
So when you begin the preparation, usually there's a lot of dilemma. What are the sources to refer? What is the way ahead? What should I begin with first? And also to understand the syllabus itself is not a easy task. You know, like coming from engineering background, etc. These are all social sciences subjects, more relatively current developments, etc. Now, in that scenario, how did you plan? How did you devise your own plan? Like,
sir, I would say whenever we are going to a new field, the better strategy is to expose ourselves to as much as we can.
Right.
Especially to those individuals who have already done it. So what I did, maybe initial first 2-3 months, I didn't study anything, in fact. So whatever time I had, I used to watch like numerous topper talks of that year's toppers and previous year toppers. I used to follow almost all the civil servants who are active on Quora back then.
Yeah.
Their blogs, their Telegram channels. So I used to just keep going through them. So, but one thing I did was I never followed any one single topper blindly, which many aspirants tend to do. That's a common mistake.
Rightly said. Yeah.
Because again, it takes time. Like not every topper strategy actually matches our strategy. Like we also need to figure out which topper actually aligns with our strengths, our weaknesses. So maybe, and there's no wrong strategy. The topper might have said the correct strategy, but that's correct strategy for him or her.
Work for him. No, it might not work for us.
Our strengths might be different. Our weaknesses might be different.
Yeah.
So I think better strategy is if we want to devise a personalized plan which works for us, then definitely we need to spend the time to get a feel of the examination ourselves. So first 2-3 months, probably I was not seriously preparing. I was just watching these topper talks and all.
Yeah.
So because of this, I developed a feel of the examination, like what this examination requires, what are the general mistakes which aspirants tend to do. And once we have an exposure to many viewpoints, there is some which click for us. Okay,
true.
This seems, there are some toppers who will resonate with us, our way of thinking. So, and who had our similar strengths, probably you can see the same background, maybe. So because of this, so I narrowed it down. So then, for example, economics, maybe there are like 2-3 sources which multiple toppers are suggesting. If multiple people are suggesting, then definitely something might have worked. So then myself maybe tried out those 2-3 sources. Sometimes I read for a few days. Or sometimes just by seeing, you can understand, okay, this is where I'm okay. This is where I'm more comfortable at.
True.
So that's how I arrived at my own strategy. Like sometimes it can be unconventional. Like I never read newspaper apart from the interview.
Yeah.
Because again, as I said, there was minimal time.
Categorical regarding that.
Minimal time available.
Like return of investment in the form of time. Because some people read the newspaper, multiple newspapers, also make notes out of it. And you are of the opinion that it ultimately wastes too much of time into that. Instead of that, somebody else is doing the work
job
for you. You do that. What is necessary, where you get more marks. That is the areas that you need to focus. You always had that clarity. Every word that you speak, there's a bit of clarity and conviction. I think that made the difference maybe.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, once you started the preparation, like you already did your research. And this is where a lot of aspirants make a mistake. They rely on somebody. As you rightly said, they just try to ape some topper, which might not work for them, or follow some mentor or etc. But what you did was like you did your own research, thoroughly analyzed what suits you and customized it accordingly. Now, after having that, now the real challenge is the implementation aspect. Now, when you were actually getting into implementation at a real time or practical level, there could have been some difficult phases. How did you handle them?
Sir, with respect to the difficult phases, I would say maybe 2 points broadly. One is ensuring that we get the bare minimum out of it. So there might be days, especially when I was working, maybe I have been to South Korea during that phase.
Okay.
And the work was even more hectic than here. So a couple of months I was there in South Korea. So during those times, the key is to just keep going whatever you can. Just squeeze whatever you can. You won't be able to do the best, but it's necessary that we ensure at least a bare minimum of preparation.
Right.
So there was this interview of Michael Phelps where he says like for 5 years, he didn't miss a single day of swimming. Neither on birthdays, neither on like Christmas or anything, any of the festivals. So he said that because one day if you miss swimming, it'll take 2 days to get back on track again. So even on days when he didn't feel like it, maybe he did something. He just went into the pool, did some bare minimum and just came out. But he didn't let the chain break.
Yeah.
So when during the difficult phases, so that's the first thing. And second thing, I would also say the flexibility. So yes, we might have thought of a plan. And in most cases, the plan definitely won't work. Will not work the way we intend to. So the key is to be flexible there. So if the conditions in which I have planned, if they have changed, then our plan needs to change too. So maybe can I update the source to a much briefer one? Maybe can I refer some top notes which is good enough? So how do we customize it as per the new changed conditions? So these both points.
Right. So that consistency and being there, like as you rightly quoted Phelps. So when there was an injury, he used to just go near the pool and sit, just to get the feel of it. That he has made an action, gone to that area. So that UPSC preparation also requires you. Sometimes you might not have your optimum focus, but you should be there, take some action, and try to improvise day by day. Over here, if we see, like you've given 6 attempts, so every time you must have evolved a different viewpoint about this examination. Now comparing your first attempt with the sixth attempt where you got the service of your choice, what was the tremendous difference that you made face wise?
I would say maybe over the phase. The first attempt was I didn't get enough time for mains.
Right.
I could finish prelims in the given time, but for mains I couldn't, because even preparation I started late, a few months just before prelims.
Yes.
So that is
in fact, you prepared for mains only after the prelims.
After the prelims, yes, sir. In fact, including my optional, with the job. So I didn't finish the syllabus as well. After that, for the second attempt, that was the attempt where I was completely prepared, at least prelims, mains to a decent extent. So I would say majorly 2 changes if I had to sum up. The first one, the drastic change was with respect to practice. So I underestimated the amount of practice it involves. So I used to study a lot, but especially in mains answer writing and all, I underestimated the amount of practice it needs.
Revision and practice.
Yes, mostly practice, just writing answers. Because I was of the opinion that if I had the content, I would actually be able to write. So I spent a lot of time, disproportionate amount of time on content, even when the marginal returns are not much, and actually didn't do answer writing much. But then later I realized, like, because there will be questions which are abstract in nature, and those we can only answer if we have some answer writing practice. We can at least have a decent answer out of them, even with the limited content we have. So I always focused on the content, but didn't focus enough on how to use that limited content to answer the questions.
Right.
So that comes with practice. So that is one change which I have made. Like that fourth attempt, the attempt which I got into IPS, that's when I actually wrote some good number of tests in GS. That brought that 20-30 marks jump. And the second big change I made was this attempt. Sir. This attempt, I felt over the years, I felt I focused more on GS. But optional, I didn't give the amount of time it requires for a science optional. Science optionals are definitely more rewarding than social sciences. But they also require more time.
True.
So probably I felt that over the years I didn't give enough amount of time in chemistry. That I realized because last year my score fell from like 290s to 260. So this attempt, I just took a bet that okay, chemistry will work for me. So almost 70% of time between prelims and mains I just devoted to chemistry. And I just trusted that my GS preparation over the years, that's enough to carry me over in this attempt. So, and that actually worked. So my score improved from 260 to 308 this year. So that's been all the difference.
True.
Rest everything, all the scores are almost more or less equal. So these both are devoting amount of time that the optional requires and practice. So these both are the major changes that I've done.
Identification of the problem case and also improvising. I think that is what you have fundamentally worked upon. Right? Some people do the same mistake over and over again and again. They've been giving multiple attempts but doing the same old methods. You tried to evolve and improvise. I think that's what made the difference.
Yes.
Jashwanth, most of them, when they prepare for UPSC, they opt for the social sciences optionals. But you chose, science optional. Chemistry was your optional subject. Any specific reason? Because any beginner, one of the fundamental decisions that they need to make is to choose the optional. So what were your parameters in choosing the optional, and how did you strategize?
Yes, so with respect to my choice of optional, it's a pretty unorthodox choice, chemistry.
Yeah.
Just like 100 odd aspirants appear for mains with this optional, and maybe 10 of them get selected.
BTech was in computer science.
Computer
IIT.
science, yes. Sir.
But why this chemistry all of a sudden?
So, like I considered, again, there are some factors which I considered. So first one is to maximize my strengths.
Right.
So coming from an IIT background, I was pretty good at problem solving. So I wanted an option in which I can use my strength.
Complements you.
Yes, sir. If I had taken a social science optional, I would have to start on a level playing field along with others, maybe who would have had studied humanities even in their graduation. So that is one factor. So which aligns with my strengths.
Yeah.
So if I have to see problem solving optionals, computer science is not in the list of options for UPSC. Then I had to go back to 11th, 12th, maths, physics, chemistry. And in 11th, 12th, I was pretty good at chemistry. Yes, sir. And also I felt, so that is one factor. So maybe from there I narrowed it to MPC.
Right.
One of them. So another
factor. Did somebody suggest you, or you?
No, sir, it was pretty much mine.
Fantastic.
Because I didn't know anyone who would suggest me chemistry.
Exactly, nobody would do that.
So I got to know of other chemistry aspirants only after I got selected. So there was no one. So that's the first factor which I've seen.
Right.
Second one, with respect to the marking. So social science options tend to have a bit of subjectivity, no matter what. So there's a bit of variation because again there are subjective answers, which might depend on the examiner who evaluates. But compared to that, technical options, I can have the guarantee. If I do it right, there are very good chances that I will get the desired result. And the scoring pattern back then, even today to some extent, but even back then it was more pronounced. Technical options were even much more rewarding.
True.
You could get an edge of 20-30 marks purely on that. So I was okay with the risk because if we go wrong, we also get penalized heavily because it's 0 or 1 for every question.
Two extremes.
Two extremes. So I was okay with the risk, but I felt because there are very few seats available, so I need to go for higher reward.
True.
So that's one factor. Another factor is the availability of resources. So that's where over physics I chose chemistry because availability of resources was better.
Okay.
Mathematics I didn't go because probably I felt I was good at objective when I had options in mathematics, but the subjective proofs and all, I was not that comfortable with it. That's not my best strength. That one. And finally, the scoring pattern was chemistry also had a good scoring pattern. Yes, it has pretty good scores back then. 2018, I think 336 was the highest. So there were good scores. Chemistry was getting good scores. The objective was, the materials were available, and I also had interest in the subject. So seeing all these factors, I chose chemistry.
Decision making is a major dilemma for many people. But you had your mind of your own, and also you had the conviction to take a decision, and you stuck to it.
Yes,
that's quite interesting. Now, having chosen this optional subject, did you ever regret choosing it? Like multiple attempts. Did you ever feel like because of this optional, probably I'm not getting into the service of my preference?
Last time it did feel, sir.
That was in 2024.
Yes, sir, 24. Initially, it never felt because...
Already being into IPS.
Yes, sir. So, initially, because always I got decent scores, like 2021, I got 285.
True.
So, I got into postal and I knew that, okay, there were some mistakes which I could have avoided. So, I was of the hope, okay, I can correct it.
Right.
2022, it fell to 260. But within 1 month, I got like the highest score in Indian Forest Service that year, chemistry. So, I got into Forest Service as well. So, I didn't have that regret. And because there were reasons which I could identify. There were some I never did PYQs and there were some direct questions which others could answer. So my score went down, I was okay with it.
Yes.
So 2023, I got again over 293. So, but that 24, when I had that fall to 260 again, 260. So that's when I thought, okay, maybe there's too much risk here. Like even a couple of questions, if I do wrong, I'll be out of top 70.
True.
20-30 marks, that's enough. So that's where I just doubted.
You contemplated.
Yes, sir. I mean, obviously I couldn't. Optional change was not an issue. But I just thought, maybe did I make the right decision or not? But then I chose to go all in. After that, I felt that, okay.
Your instincts.
Yes, sir. I mean, optional change was not an option after putting in so much effort.
Absolutely.
But I just felt that, okay, maybe if there are mistakes, so I should work even harder to ensure that I should have enough practice so that I don't do any silly mistakes in the first place. And I should plug all the gaps. So there were gaps. And that will require a lot of time. Because in optionals, what we tend to do is there are areas which generally questions are asked, and there are some peripheral areas which we generally tend to ignore because questions are not being asked. So I felt even I should put in more effort to ensure that even all those areas are covered, so that no matter what the paper, I should be able to get 300. So that's the reason I just went all in, like 70% of time purely to the optional.
So like, as an outsider, when I see you, like what you are speaking regarding the optional, so this positive approach, time and again, you are trying to improvise and not challenging the situations. You are doing a self-analysis and introspecting and then trying to improvise over it. I think that's the optimum and positive thing a lot of youngsters need to take. Because usually when people are faced with adversities, they try to blame the circumstances and the situation. Over here, you're sticking to what you want and working on it.
Maybe I would add a point here. So in fact, so that is whatever you said regarding adversity. In fact, that provides a better opportunity to improve. So maybe even if I look back, I made changes every year. Like after every year, I used to like sit down for 2-3 days, just go through the topper Telegram channels that year. So see if there's any other strategy or anything that I can change, any edge, any small suggestion that maybe can give me that edge.
True.
So after every attempt, I did that analysis. Maybe I saw the topper copies of that year to see are there any new ideas that I can implement and all. Right. But again, with respect to adversity, that actually forces us to change. So for me, mostly my 21-22 attempt, there were changes, but the changes were minimal. The major change, which I said with respect to answer rating, that came after when I was out of the main list in 2022. And even with respect to chemistry, the major change, again, my 23 and 24 attempts were similar. The strategy were more or less similar.
Yes.
The broad change in strategy came when my chemistry witnessed a fall to 260. So then I had to really face that, okay, I had some gaps in chemistry and focus on that. So in fact, adversity is a good thing if we can use it to our advantage.
That's the right approach which is needed. Phenomenal. Jashwanth, like having discussed about optional, another significant change that you made was in your essay paper. In the earlier attempts, essay scores was average, but this year there was significant improvement in the essay. Now, there is no particular syllabus for essay, and most of the aspirants are clueless on what they need to do to get very good marks in essay. Now, based on your experience and the implementational strategy that you've adopted, what should be done for a beginner to improve their scores in essay?
Sir, to be very frank, I'm not the best person to speak on essay. So my scores have been pretty average through almost every attempt.
But this time, I think it is better.
This time I got 109, which is like above average, but still nothing exceptional in that area.
But still, like you try to, I think you were significantly working on it.
Yes,
so there are some models that might work for others.
I tried to tinker, like as I said, like even for essay, like I went through like every toppers.
Right.
So, but again, one thing with respect to essay papers, there's a lot of subjectivity. So we need to maybe at least have a template, like how can we approach it? So one thing, choose toppers who align with your strengths. So I didn't have a very great flowery writing style or anything like that. Whereas some toppers do have, some toppers who score 140s, they have a great writing style.
Right.
So when I see their topic copies, I mean, it's almost pointless because I can't replicate it no matter what.
Yes.
It's not something which would change instantaneously. So that is out of the question. So I chose toppers who had a simple writing style, but what is that they did the right way? So I went through the copies. So there are some with respect to the flow they have maintained. So that is one area which I try to work on. Second is the examples which I try to bring in. So generally now essay writing style has improved, especially in the recent years with so many resources available. So now what difference can we make? So maybe with respect to the examples, I tried bringing in diverse examples.
Okay.
Maybe one from mythology. In fact, one of my essays this year I started with Mahabharata example. So it's bringing and some maybe just direct observations, as simple as some nature.
Right.
Just maybe using some metaphors, like just like a tree grows out of a seed or caterpillar shifts into butterfly, which are very simple observations, but they seem effective. So every paragraph I had a diverse area from which I brought an example. So that is one area which I worked on.
So more like a practical approach you adopted.
Yes, sir. One more reason is a flow. So it's about developing a constant flow, like trying to ensure that there's no break in flow. Whenever a reader is reading the essay, there should ensure a level of flow, not just using the words like students tend to use additionally, moreover, nevertheless, and all these connectives. Right. So flow is not just about the connective, but ensuring a broader flow by connecting the last sentence of the previous paragraph and the next one.
The theme.
So trying to develop a broader theme. So these are some of the factors I worked on, sir. Right. And again, not sticking to a specific template like maybe pestle approach, and all those are outdated. So doesn't work.
Even the kind of questions asked in essay, I don't think it will.
Examples people try to bring in.
Don't work anymore.
Yes, sir. So trying to ensure strength of the argument, not just example. The argument should have some substance to it. So I had, essay is the only paper where I had taken guidance. So a couple of years. Again, even for the mentor who I was supposed to approach, I actually again researched. I found a couple of mentors. Like last year, I enrolled in one test series, and this year I enrolled in another test series.
Yes.
Both are not so famous, but they're very not so famous yet. So, but they're very good. I mean,
all that matters is it worked for you, right?
Yes,
they were there to help guide you through.
No, sir. What I was saying is, I mean, they're not so much famous in the UPSC arena. But when I looked at these courses, I really felt okay.
True.
They have a lot of content which is not yet very much standardized in the market. So I think their guidance, and essay is one paper where one-on-one guidance helps actually.
Yes.
So unlike other papers, there's no standard template. Like no one can actually guide on how to write a better essay. So our essay seems like, okay, we have flow when we read it. So I think those both essays when I enrolled, they had like this one-on-one evaluation where they were evaluating live.
Line by line.
Line by line in live. So that's where they could point to the specific deficiencies I had. This is where these usage of phrases.
Yes.
This line here, the flow has broken. So maybe you could have done this. The paragraph needs to be more concise. All these are very personalized suggestions.
Right.
So that's what we need in essay paper. Someone who is good, who understands the examination, and who can offer that personalized guidance, that one-on-one. So that is something I've worked on, sir. And yes, sir, this year, actually the average scores have gone down.
Yes.
Many people scored in 80s, 90s.
True.
So I could get a pretty decent score, 109, thanks to all these efforts.
Yes.
So it worked out.
So like the rightful diagnosis, and you were trying to work on, whatever the mentors were suggesting, you were working on it and practicing it. How, like, you were regularly practicing the essay on a weekly scale, or it was only like when there was a test that you were giving?
I actually scheduled, I wanted to write it on a regular scale, but mostly, again, didn't end up that way. I wrote all the tests, but mostly those were written the last 20 days.
Okay.
Before mains. In the last 20 days, I used to write like maybe every 3 days I wrote an essay. I just got them evaluated. Right. Again, wrote the essay. Yes. So ideal one is writing it regularly.
True.
But again, because given the nature of the examination, things don't go to plan. But I wrote like maybe 10 and 12 essays, 5-6 essay tests. But mostly they were in the end. Last 20 days I wrote. So.
Last minute grind.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, like when we talk about the mains examination, another important paper is ethics. And fundamentally for mains, even for the general studies paper, answer writing. As you've rightly mentioned in the earlier attempts and this attempt, the difference was you focus more on answer writing. Now, what is the right methodology of answer writing? Because you have a very vivid experience with this examination. Every time that you gave the examination with UPSC, you were clearing some stage or other. And in the past 4 times, almost every stage you were clearing.
Yes, the last 5 times I got a rank.
Yeah. And in the past 5 times, every stage you have cleared. So I want to understand, what is that thing that UPSC is expecting when it comes to answer writing? And if you could share with the fellow aspirants, what is the right model, or at least a simplistic model which can be followed?
Sir, again, with respect to answer writing, I would say first identify your own strengths. So don't try to emulate any particular topper, because everyone has a different writing style. So some toppers have used a lot of diagrams and all. So I felt I could memorize a lot of content, lot of data and all.
Okay.
So I felt that was my strength.
With the IIT brain.
So rather than using any flowery language, so I stuck to points. Points is most of the students anyway use it.
Yeah.
So my approach was focusing heavily on value addition. So I used to write like very brief points. The point was very brief, but I used to supplement as much as I can with value addition and all.
Right, substantiating
it.
Yeah.
So next, another thing is try to bring some unique angle which you can bring, so that the examiner would know, okay, this guy is a serious aspirant.
Right.
He has put in that effort. So maybe one thing I used was case studies. So I used to, for standard topics, say maybe food processing, PDS, whether every time. So I used to have 5-6 case studies. and like you should just dump them at the end. Like instead of way forward, which tends to be get a bit generic.
Monotonous.
Tends to get a bit generic. So instead of that, I just drew a small diagram, like 5-6 case studies, like
Okay.
PDS, this state has this model, this state has this model. So it's just something unique, maybe. So these are some of things. Again, another thing is addressing the demand of the question. So we think we are addressing it, but there's a lot of change. Like we tend to
Presume too much.
yes, sir, we miss out on some parts of the question. So we need not assume everything. Unless someone points out, sometimes we fail to identify that we are actually missing out on a part of the question.
Right.
So implicit demand. Okay, what are the things? And maybe adding an extra dimension sometimes. So for example, if they ask maybe food processing, what are the problems of food processing? Maybe you can have a small, maybe government schemes or some value addition. Or if what are the steps government has taken with respect to food processing. Maybe you can have small box, small micro diagram, which shows okay problems in food processing sector, which maybe the examiner might give that half mark extra. So the battle is all about getting that half mark extra.
Right.
It's about because 20 questions, so it's 10 marks per paper, it's 40 marks in the whole GS. So it's about what we can do to get that half mark extra.
Right.
That's where answer writing also comes into place, because as we see in recent years, there are a lot of abstract questions.
Yep.
So if we have to answer those abstract questions, which are even difficult to understand sometimes in the time pressure. So we need to, if we have that habit of writing answers, even with the limited content we can cook a decent answer, which sounds okayish on reading. So that would fetch us those 2-3 marks in that question. So this is broadly been my approach.
Right. Now, like, what should be the ideal number of answers that a student should write? Because this question might look very mundane, but these are the questions that people have. Should I write answers on a daily scale? Should I write a weekly test? Should I write comprehensive tests? Or should I start giving mains tests after the prelims examination? In your scenario, initially you did not focus much on answer writing. You were focusing on content, and then you gave the examination. From the second attempt, you were trying to give mocks, right? Now, but there are some students or some institutes or a lot of Telegram channels or YouTube channels, etc., which suggest that from day one of your preparation, you have to start your answer writing. But practically, without substantial information and substantial understanding about the examination, you cannot delve into answer writing. What is your tips and strategy for answer writing? When should they start? What should they start with?
Sir, with respect to answer writing, as you rightly said, we need a certain base to write a good answer. So maybe writing answers from day one is good for the institutes because they can get more students, but it's pointless for the students. More test series. So it's pointless for the students. So that's why I would in fact suggest completing the prelim syllabus first.
True.
So that students have a base on what they can write and answer. Even the first answer they write, they would have at least decent content. And they would also be able to appreciate the solution, like what are the different points and all. So surely I would say after your preparation has reached a certain stage, only then delve into answer writing. So, and the type of answer writing which you said, I would broadly divide into 2 types. One, maybe students can do some daily answer writing where there's no time pressure, but they would try to improve on every answer. What more can we do?
Yes.
So where they can get some new ideas and try write on the leisurely basis. So that is one kind of answer writing. And supplement this with regular tests. That test needs to be a 3-hour full-length test on time.
Okay.
Because again, as we know,
time management.
Yes, sir, time management and like GS
Word
papers,
limit.
there is word limit, time limit. Therefore, we need to write 4 GS papers in 2 days. So we have like 3 minutes per page. So 10 marker, we have 7 minutes for 10 marker. So it's 1 minute, say, for thinking, 3 minutes per page. Same for 15 marker. So writing 3-minute page in 3 minutes and continuing that for 3 hours, doing that for 4 papers in 2 days. So this requires a lot of mental endurance.
Right.
So we need to develop that muscle as well to even think creatively, even in the 20th question. So I would suggest you regularly, yes, daily answer writing has its place, but regular after
Comprehensive
this, yes, sir, we need to complement them with tests and we need to ensure that we are writing them on time.
Right.
If we're writing at home, we have the tendency to stretch it to 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. People write it for 5 hours.
Yes. So just ensure that you are writing it on time. And more importantly, after both this, supplement it with the evaluation part.
True.
So evaluation have the test series, the solution which you are writing.
Yes.
So see what maybe some keywords which you could have added, some important stat which you could have added, or maybe some micro diagram. Even we ourselves get more ideas. Without the time pressure, we get some ideas. Okay, maybe this diagram I could have added. So those things stick with us because that's a mistake we have made. And when we see, okay, I should have remembered this. So that sticks with us.
Absolutely.
So keep adding them into the notes. So I would say that is a complement, evaluate our answers. And these both styles of answer writing, people can complement.
This certainly gives a lot of direction on answer writing because everybody speaks about answer writing. It is seemed to be made more complicated the more we speak about it. But you gave a very clear-cut and simplistic direction. If they follow that, I think definitely they can improvise. Now, Jashwanth, now you've mentioned answer writing. People need content for it. Did you make any notes for your preparation?
No, sir. Actually, this is one area again which I differ. So I never had any notes for mains except for ethics, probably. Otherwise, for main GCS subject, I never had notes.
Optional also?
Optional, I relied on others' notes. So,
yeah, that is necessary.
Yes,
you
sir.
should be smart enough to utilize your time effectively.
Yes, sir.
You cannot keep doing the bullwork. Somebody has done that, utilize it.
Yes, sir.
To the best of your benefit.
Yes, sir. So, so with respect to note making, so generally, if you see the advantages, there is, so it helps us revise in the last minute, as many toppers say, definitely. But there's
revision notes also, you didn't make your revision notes?
Nothing.
Okay. Whatever sources that you
Yes, sir, directly.
particular material you chose or source you chose and you were reading it.
Yes, sir.
Underlining it and reading it.
Yes, sir, that's all.
Okay.
So for me, so yes, sir, the advantage with respect to notes, making notes is a revision.
Right.
Just before the examination, last 15-20 days, it helps to revise faster. But the problem is there's also an opportunity cost attached to it, which is a time required. So when I chose to make a decision, so should I go for it or not, I felt that I was comfortable enough revising from the book itself. So the books I followed direct mains books, which had direct like mains content, which are there in the market, some of the books. So I just directly ticked points from them and directly studied from that.
Okay.
And I supplemented with some content boosters which were available with the committees, facts and all. There are institutes providing direct compilations of the facts. So even in those, I ticked the important facts and I directly revised from that. So now this is quite interesting and risky because let's say first 1 or 2 attempts you've done that, okay, well and good. But all the 6 attempts, you never prepared your revision notes. No, sir, nothing. So again, that's a personalized call. Again, I'm not suggesting that everyone should do it. So see whether you're comfortable reading from the book. So that's a conscious call I made because I was comfortable enough reading from the book and reading from. How would you revise it? Just throughout the book. Glance through because you had that photographic memory also because you were reading the same source again and again. Yes, probably you developed a photographic memory and that's why revision was easier. Yes, I had some ticked points and all, so I would glance through those ticked points and all. Okay. So yes, it was definitely time taking. Revision was not easier, but there's a choice I've taken, conscious choice I've taken that I felt that okay, maybe my decline in whatever it is productivity here because of lack of revision notes, but vis-a-vis the time saved. Sure. See, if I saw the time saved, I felt that I could use that time in for actually preparing better content, maybe revising and answer writing. So that's a ROI I've taken. Even in optional, so there's another aspirant who has made wonderful notes. His notes was completely very much extensive. Did he clear the exam? No, sir, he didn't clear. Okay. But for the aspirant community, he made the notes was simply outstanding. Fantastic. What's his name? Lovepreet. His notes go by the name Lovepreet. So chemistry, sir. So he has uploaded all the notes on the drive. Before clearing itself. Yes, sir. Fantastic. So he kept on uploading like over 1-2 years, like maybe every few months he used to upload a topic. They were very extensive. So maybe some minor additions here and there I used to do. Otherwise, that's itself is my base notes. Same source you were revising? Yes, sir. Amazing. Same source. So sticking to the same source probably helped. Though you didn't have revision notes, standard source, like whatever you've chose, you were sticking to it. Some people, for each attempt, they change their sources of information. That in fact confuses their mind to a great extent. Right. So I can say it's a style of preparation, like whatever I would say. Certainly, you need to understand. Preparation is very unique now. Yes, sir. Everyone needs to understand oneself. Like everyone has their strengths, weaknesses. So if you can understand yourself, then maybe it will be better. Like you can plan a strategy which is customized, which is personalized for you. Jashwanth, like coming to prelims, of late prelims has become a very difficult stage. There are many people who get into the IPS, IRS, but again when they give the prelims examination, probably they're not ending up to clear it. Now, every time Jashwanth gave the prelims examination, he cleared. Like, what is the magic behind this? So prelims also, I would divide into two stages. One is the content part, content preparation. So we need to ensure that our sources are holistic enough. So put enough time in deciding which sources we want to revise and then stick to them.
Right.
And we need multiple revisions because the questions are being asked from nook and corner. So that is one part of it. The second part is a practice. I think for prelims, we need that knack of answering objective questions. So there is a pattern in which UPSC frames questions.
True.
There's a pattern in which it frames its options. So sometimes when we have that feel for objective questions, we can actually get a better edge. So that needs to be developed again. So that comes with practice, writing enough tests. And
now here people say that in recent times the pattern is not working. They've changed the pattern significantly. But they have to realize if you actually understand the examination, there's some underlying current which is common across several years.
So I would suggest maybe keep going to the PYQs regularly. So there are some patterns which you can find with respect to the areas that are being covered, with respect to the toughness of the questions.
Right.
So when we understand that pattern, I think both should go hand in hand. Once we keep writing tests, keep going through PYQs, our content preparation also improves because we know what to study and more importantly, what not to study.
Absolutely.
Because many coaching institutes just dump a lot of material in the current affair notes. 90% is not required because UPSC doesn't ask to that depth. So by going through the questions and all, we'll develop the knack of identifying what to study and what not to study. And even in the objective, when we are answering, it's important to choose the right test series.
True.
Some are too easy, too trivial, pointless writing them. Some actually make it a matter of pride of setting too tough question papers. Which
artificially make it more difficult.
Make it more difficult, covering corner cases and all. But those test series end up like damaging our own confidence.
True.
And if we repeatedly see our answers getting wrong, so we would lose the ability to trust our instincts in the examination.
This is something, quite deep actually. We fail to question our own instincts after a point of time when the toughness is artificially hiked.
So choose the right test series, which, the standard of questions is more or less in line with the UPSC examination. So, and keep answering those. Then after again, exam evaluation is also more important.
True.
So maybe
self-evaluation.
Yes, sir. If we see there are many questions from say a subject, say economy, which you are missing, which we don't even know at all. So then we need to change the source because it's not holistic enough. Maybe it's something which you have studied, but we are unable to recall in the examination. Then we need to schedule more revisions. And if it's not 1 and 2, but maybe we are not able to narrow it down. So then it's a matter of having that objective knack of elimination, eliminating options. So for that we need more practice, we need more tests. So it's about identifying that shortcoming and then working on it.
Now, another question that many aspirants ask is, how many questions should we attempt in the prelims GS paper?
Sir, I would say there's no standard number. For me, I attempted 100 questions every year.
Every year?
Every single year.
100?
100 out of 100.
Did you feel it was risky?
Sir, my strategy was, okay, so if there are 4 options given, my probability of getting, if I keep it blindly, is 25%, getting it right.
Right.
And the negative marking is 33%. So even if I could
arithmetic that you worked.
Eliminate one single option, then my probability of getting it correct is greater than or equal to 33% because I'll use some logic. So even if I eliminate one option, I'll just go for it. So in most of the cases, at least 97, 98 questions, I can at least eliminate one option, maybe based on something which I have read, most of the questions.
Some remote area,
some gut feeling, something. So I can eliminate. So once I eliminate one question, even if I don't know anything, I'll just go for it. So the way the probability works, there's no guarantee that we'll end up. We might end up negative. But thing is, if we do it over a span of 10, 15 questions, most probably we'll end up in the net positive.
Right.
There's a good chance. So I just always took that call because, sir, I personally got above 105 in every single attempt.
Yeah. Most of your prelim scores were very good.
Yeah, all prelim scores, sir. I cleared forest cutoff in every single prelim.
Exactly. For many people who do not know, the IFOS cutoff is much higher than the CSE cutoff.
Yes, around 15 marks higher.
Yes.
So I cleared every year. So for me, I felt, again, this is also, people need to work on test series.
Yes.
So actually, I literally, during my first attempt, after first and second attempts, I never prepared much for prelims.
Right.
But first attempt when I wrote test series, in fact, I actually analyzed the questions which I don't know. Like, how am I faring in that?
Right.
So I felt in which I was not able to eliminate even one option. Like, how many am I doing them right? Or if I could eliminate one option, how many am I getting them right? of questions which I got into 50-50. How many I got them right? Wrong. And I actually felt that, okay, my is above average. Even in questions which I couldn't eliminate any option, more than 33% I was getting them right. So I felt, okay, I'm good at this. I can understand the pattern. I can decipher the pattern in which he's setting. So I'll just go for it. So always, for me personally, I just went for it. So, but again, it's a personalized call. There are some people who have higher accuracy. But for me, I believe that in current UPSC, I mean, no one knows. Even with the scores I've got, I don't think I know more than like 50-ish questions surely.
Yes.
The first round which I answer, hardly 50 questions I'll answer.
First round में 50 आना is like very good.
Very good. Yeah. Hardly 50. Like no, it doesn't touch 50.
Right.
The questions which I know. So it requires you to be brave.
Yeah.
So we need to take those calculated risks. So, and given the randomness of the paper, I don't think we can rely on accuracy too much. Maybe in 5-6 years back, maybe. But now, given the nature of answer key, like even coaching institutes keep getting it wrong.
Yes.
Like even with all the Google and ChatGPT, UPSC coaching answer keys, like there are
most of them.
Like more than 10 in many cases.
Yes.
Which are going wrong.
True.
So I wouldn't suggest relying on accuracy too much. So given the ambiguous nature of some questions and options, I would say just people need to be more courageous. Students need to be courageous in taking those risks. If you answer 70-80, most likely you're out of the list there itself. So that won't be sufficient. So I would say above 90, prefer above 90.
Yeah.
Above that, it's a call, like whatever you feel in the examination. So I never thought that I would always go for 100. But in the examination, it almost...
And you would...
Maybe I think couple of attempts I stopped at 97 or 98, that's it.
Still, that is a significant number.
Significant number.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow, where in the exam, if you feel every question, if you are able to eliminate one option, then go for it.
True.
Otherwise, it's a personalized call. I personally would suggest above 90 every time.
This is quite a novel approach, and I think your prelims examination pattern might become a case study for many of the aspirants now. Now, Jashwanth, like moving to the personality test or the interview. Now, you've given multiple UPSC interviews, and you've also given the Indian Forest Service interview. What exactly is UPSC expecting? Because there's a notification. When you open some YouTube channels, everybody has their own perspective about the UPSC personality test. Now, you have a vivid experience, right? What did you understand? What did you decode is the board's expectation from a candidate?
First and foremost, I would say the board's expectation to some extent is outlined in the notification.
Absolutely.
It is not an interview, it is a personality test. So they say, so the expectations are broadly outlined. So more like they know that our knowledge has been tested in prelims and mains. For personality test, they will look forward and see, okay, whether this candidate is fit enough to be an officer, whether they would be able to lead a district. So that is what they are looking for personality traits.
True.
Knowledge comes second. Knowledge is secondary. That comes later. So now, for example, if we are assessing a candidate ourselves, so which kind of candidate would we prefer? So we would want a humble candidate.
Yep.
So there are multiple personality traits. So at the end of the day, we would want a candidate who we are comfortable working with. If we have to take this member into our team, will that be a good experience working with them? So now just shift the question. So now we need not be brilliant. Just we need to be humble there. We need to be humble. We need to be honest. If we don't know any question, just be honest. So these are the factors which they are trying to look. So just and is this person confident? Because if they are looking for the position of an officer, maybe someone as a district collector. So even in times of adversity, is this person being confident enough to handle that? So all these core personality traits they are trying to assess. That's what has been my experience. And if we can get those right, then surely I believe at least a decent score we can ensure. Maybe upwards of 175, 180 can be ensured if we can be confident, be honest, be humble, and the way we speak, the way we articulate, the way we address everyone. So all these things matter, because I would also say that maybe unlike mains where there's marks for every question, here there's no marks for every question. You can just skip 10 questions and if you answer some of cover it in other questions, you will get the marks. So all that matters is when a candidate leaves the room, the chairman, it's entirely in the hands of chairman. What did he feel Like, what is the feel that this person left after interacting for half an hour with this
That
candidate?
imprint.
Yes, sir. After interacting half an hour with this candidate, how did the board feel about?
Yeah.
It's about that feel. So that feel, so it's our duty to make it a pleasure to interact. It should be a smooth conversation.
True.
So if someone comes off as arrogant, even we don't like interacting with the other person. So just be that person, like the way you let them, you don't interrupt them in between. Small things. But people tend to forget them under pressure. So stay confident.
Right.
Even if you miss questions. So these are the core personality traits which are in our hand. These we can ensure a decent score. Above that, now how do we get above that? Is through preparation. That's where again the knowledge, all these factors come in, because they are also trying to assess the
wisdom of a candidate.
So most of the questions they also ask from maybe current affairs or our DAF, which is a form of our background. So they want to test how curious this candidate is, how much they know about their home state, how much they aware, then opinions and all. So for that part requires preparation, and the answers also need to reflect the core personality traits which I have addressed earlier. So that requires preparation of every aspect of DAF. All these things we need to ensure, and if we can bring those novel insights, then again coming back to the point which I've addressed, the board will feel interested to talk to you. If we can bring those novel insights, some good opinions, so the board will feel even more interested to interact with us. So that will make it even more enjoyable for them, which reflects in the marks. So that factor, like that preparation, and those might end up taking our score from 180 to 200 plus. But again, so that factor is not often in our hands, to be very honest. The questions which they ask, they're not in our hands. Sometimes they can go very random, and then maybe, and some questions we don't even have the scope to answer. It's just a 30-minute interview, and it's tough to assess a candidate completely in that area, in that limited time. So sometimes questions don't offer us that scope. So in that we cannot do anything. But as if we control the controllables, and if on that day, if the board is in a good mind space and if they ask good questions, we can answer them, then we can end up pushing that score to 200 plus.
No, like one problem over here is there could be some questions which unsettle us. It's not like it's not just about not knowing the answer to the question. Sometimes, it unsettles you, or sometimes it could be a question where there is a lot of controversy or some kind of sensitive questions. In that scenario, what was the model that you adopted?
Sir, with respect to sensitive questions or questions which unsettle us, so just for personally, there are many mock interviews which I did mistakes in these questions. I got unsettled, and that impact fell in the other questions. But after evaluating, I felt okay. Maybe it's not the question itself which is leading to a low score. It's the questions that follow, the impact which I ensured which I allowed to carry to the other next questions.
Right.
So one thing is
you being consumed by it.
Yes, sir. So one thing is understanding that all the students are of my level. It's not that if UPSC has selected me after writing prelims and mains, it feels that I'm on par with other candidates.
Perfect.
So those questions, if it unsettles me, those kind of questions will unsettle anyone. So there's no need to get anxious over that one single question. And it's okay to give bad answers. As long as we don't give arrogant answers, or as long as we don't let that answer affect our core personality traits, which where they are looking for, it's okay to give a normal answer, average answer. So don't try to make every answer exceptional where there's no scope. So that's where we tend to actually overdo. So, even if it's a bad answer, for every answer, even if it's controversial, we can have some basic generic answer anyway. So if I don't know, I'll just stick with the generic answer and leave the evaluation to them. So don't evaluate yourself in midst of the interview.
Oh, that is a catch over there. Yeah.
Yes, UPSC has brought about 5 people to evaluate you. So you need not be the 6th person evaluating yourself.
Amazing. Yeah.
So let them do the evaluation job. Just give the basic, and so maybe I'll equate it with cricket. So some balls you can hit a sixer, which are well prepared, or you get some brilliant idea over there. But at least in the other questions, ensure that you don't get out. Perfect. At least just leave the ball, or just play defense. Do something, just survive. So maybe so that you're there
on the pitch.
You're there to face the next delivery. But if that delivery itself you take a risky shot and just go out, there is no point. So I always believe, just have the trust that even if the interview goes bad for 29 minutes, in the last 1 minute, if you could answer something, you can actually salvage it. So just have the trust, even if it's going bad. So in fact, during my IPS interview, I probably did that mistake. In between the first member, it didn't go well.
Okay.
And that it carried out a bit in the second, third. So but somehow I was able to salvage in the fourth and fifth members. 170 plus I got. It's a decent, but it was not a disaster score.
Yeah.
So it can always be salvaged. So at least based on my perception, that interview, first 3 members, it was a 150 interview. But then at least I could bring to 170. So always have the trust so that you can salvage it. So don't lose hope in the middle of interview.
Right. Never let go.
Yes, sir.
So this is the right approach and mindset required. I mean, in a very simplistic manner, you summed up what is exactly required for this personality test. Now, you've gone for the interviews in the corporate sector also. Then you attended the UPSC personality test multiple times. What is the difference in the expectation and what was the difference in your approach for both? The corporate versus UPSC.
So to sum up in a single line, I would say corporate looks for, it's more of knowledge based than personality. It's more of knowledge based. For UPSC, it's more of personality based. So they're looking for an employee who would handle the task in the most efficient manner. In corporate sector. So they're looking for knowledge.
Right.
They're not as such looking for confidence or all these traits. To some extent, they're getting judged, but not much. Communication skills, the way you articulate, all those things don't matter that much.
Right.
If you have the knowledge, in fact, if you have the good profile and all those things play a great role. Coming to UPSC, it's more about the personality. Yeah. So now, if you have a question like does UPSC need a personality test in the first place? They can hire from knowledge. If all they're looking for is knowledge, then prelims and mains, they do a good job. Maybe they can have another stage if needed. But if they're bringing some senior bureaucrats who have done 30 years of service, if they're bringing them from morning till evening for 3-4 months together. So there is a certain reason. They want to see if this person is fit enough to be an officer. So here, the core focus is on personality.
Right.
So that is the difference. And so our preparation needs to, again, as per that. So corporate, it's more of knowledge based. So I would prepare according to that. Here, yes, there is knowledge preparation from my DAF, current affairs and all. But it also needs to be complemented with how I portray myself. And that's where, again, some people say, okay, your communication doesn't matter. I would say it matters. The way we articulate, because in that 30 minutes, if they have to assess ourselves, many times the way we articulate matters a lot. So how structured we are in thinking. And there needs to be a good connection between our mind and our mouth, because here there's a new question which I have never heard of. We are answering it the first time. And we have to speak while thinking parallelly.
Right.
So that needs to be practiced. So while answering, how we are structuring our thought process and all. So I would say that comes with practice. So again, maybe give mock interviews or answer in the mirror. So you can have a peer group answering. Right. So it's a combination of knowledge and personality here.
Jashwanth, usually people, once they get into UPSC preparation, they neglect their hobbies or their core aspects, But in your scenario, you are into cricket blogging, choreography, etc. Do you think that a person needs to forego what matters to them when they enter into UPSC preparation? Because there's too much of academic, academic focus which is required for this exam.
The way I view this preparation overall, I would say consistency over intensity. So yes, between prelims and mains, maybe we need that intensity where we are studying for 12 hours a day and all.
Right.
But what matters more is what we are doing in the other 9 months. So when the exam is say 8 months away from it, so how much are we studying?
Yep.
So these factors matter more. So even if we can get 6 to 8 hours every single day, even when the exam is throughout the year, that would keep us in a much better position.
True.
And to be able to do that, we need things off the study room, so which would help us stay consistent. Else we would end up burning out. So I would say, yes, even after you take 8 hours every day, even 8 hours you sleep. So there's still plenty of time which you can actually catch up with other activities.
Because some people lose out on their core personality.
Yes, sir. Be it personality, be it even health, taking care of their health and all.
That is more important.
Those are all actually important. In fact, those will help you better study when you sit down to study. So the more you sit down and force your brain to do something, the more you force your mind, it's like that forbidden fruit story. So more your mind will wander. So once you actually have some quality time outside the study room as well, so when you sit down to study, you'll be much more focused. So I would not suggest anyone to completely leave their hobbies and all. Yes, it demands some sacrifices if you are doing it alongside when you're working or just a couple of months before mains and all. Yes, it does require those sacrifices.
True.
But overall, just ensure that you compensate. Maybe if before 2 months mains, you had to sacrifice a lot. After mains, you can actually compensate. So I would always say have a healthy balance.
Yeah, that fine balance.
Yes.
About 30 to 45 minutes per day working out on
Yes,
your health, that also matters. Another interesting thing is way back in 2020 when I saw you and now I see a different Jashwanth altogether. Whether it is the way that you're speaking, your body language, in fact, in the past 2 or 3 years, a significant change. So what is the secret for this healthy and fit approach that you've got?
So the current version, I can thank National Police
2.0.
I can thank National Police Academy probably for the personality. Definitely the amount of physical activity. I mean, I have worked on it before as well. Like maybe last 1-2 years, I have slightly worked on it, going to the gym and all. But significant weight loss has truly been after joining National Police Academy.
True.
So the amount of physical activity, the way they shape us, definitely that actually had a very good impact on personality. Like not just outdoor, even indoor. The way they always encourage us to speak. They could have had, the same class, they could have had, say, 160 we are a batch of 160.
Right.
So they could have had in the same section 160 members. But again, they have 4 sections. So that they encourage everyone to speak in those 4 sections. They try to make the class interactive. So definitely it helps us develop that confidence, be it being able to speak out in the class or even in outdoor when we can push our limits.
Right.
When we think, okay, when we end up achieving what we thought maybe before 3 months was impossible. So recently we had a 5K run.
Okay.
And our qualifying, for example, for male proportion, it's 30 minutes, 5K run. And for females, it's 35 minutes. And for most of us, it was unimaginable. Maybe when we joined the academy.
Exactly. For me, it is unimaginable.
Yes, sir. But now, like most of them, almost all of us ended up qualifying it. Like I finished in like 25 minutes.
Okay. 5 kilometers in 25 minutes.
So all these things which we thought we were impossible, but maybe through daily efforts, when we actually end up achieving, so that builds a sense of confidence.
Right.
So maybe I can thank NPA for that.
Fantastic. What other interesting aspects when it comes to NPA training could you share with our audience?
Yes, sir. NPA training is pretty much interesting, very interesting in fact. So the indoor aspects, they try to introduce us to the policing subculture, the policing aspects like the criminal laws, the investigation, which we don't get to study outside. In UPSC, it's not a generalistic one. So those are with respect to indoor. With respect to outdoors, the first 2 months, so they try to shape us. They try to bring us to at least to a base level where we can actually start doing other activities. So first 2 months, mostly it's morning PT and drill. And now after 2-3 months, after everyone reached a certain level of fitness, now they are trying new activities. So be it horse riding, firing, unarmed combat. So yes, overall, it's a pretty much very, very interesting training. Now we are actually starting on attachments as well, like maybe election attachment. So there's also real world exposure of how things work, ITBP, army, etc. So overall, yes, I'm pretty much enjoying this training.
That's quite interesting, Jashwanth. In the end, I just want you to share with our audience and fellow aspirants, having this long experience with UPSC. In fact, in your case, every time or significant number of times you cleared the examination. Now, what is it required for a beginner or a veteran to clear this examination?
Sir, I would say consistency. But again, so that itself would encompass a lot of other factors.
Right.
So to be consistent enough, we need that clarity of thought when we decide. So ensure have your why very clear. So don't just plunge into the preparation. So just, even if you're not sure, just take some time, then decide. So that will sustain you throughout this journey. And again, to be consistent, you need to be disciplined. So again, to be consistent, again, you need to be patient. And also, you need to couple that consistency with flexibility.
Right.
So it's about finding that balance, not being too rigid, not being too flexible that you just keep changing. So I would say having consistency with the right amount of balance. That balance can include on our study life and our personal life. That balance can include even in preparation, giving adequate attention to every vertical of this preparation.
Makes sense.
So I would say consistency with right amount of balance.
Fantastic, Jashwanth. It was a amazing conversation, and all of us in the studio, we love the kind of energy. Like starting with the initial phase of the podcast till the end, you maintain the same energy. I think that is what is a success formula. Your mindset, your clarity, and the conviction with which you articulate yourself. This is quite a takeaway for many of the youngsters out there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jashwanth, and congratulations once again on this tremendous success. And we wish, pray, and hope that you reach better positions and you achieve all your endeavors.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.